Hi students, Cynthia Nitch here, wanting to go over how to download the SAP app. This is part of your modules in here. Every year it's different, or every semester it's different. We have a new client ID, we have a new server. I sent you your student ID through your email and a password. So if this is if this isn't your client ID 430, of course we're in a different semester, right? Because I don't want to have to be doing this video over and over every semester. But I do want to clarify that this client ID, if you're in another semester than spring 2024, this would be different. Okay, so this is how, these are all the information you need to log into SAP. But before we log into SAP, we need to download the application. So it's a cloud-based download, right? And here's the instructions on how to download it if you have Windows, and here's the instructions for Mac. If you have any problems with this, get in touch with me. But today we're going to do an SAP. We're going to learn how to log on and navigate. Okay, so I want to show you the instructions, what that looks like. So I'll click on here. And here's the instructions that I am just going through line by line, okay? So let's get started. So once I downloaded my application, I put it on my desktop. So I'm going to minimize this and open SAP. And then we are in Odessa, like I showed you just a while ago, so I have to find that. Double click on it. So some of you guys, you know, I should probably go back on that because I want to show you something. On this, there's a couple of different views, and you might be on a different view. You need to be on list view in order to find Odessa, okay? So I'm going to double click on that. And now I'm in. So from that module page that we were just previously on, we showed you the client. So the client for this semester is 430. And then your user is the user ID that I emailed to you. Mine's different. And then you have a password. Your temporary password was on that Canvas page. Mine is, I didn't do it, I've already logged into here, so you're not going to see the temporary password and then the option to redo your password. I'm just typing in my new password that I created. And then I press enter. Okay, so on the navigation instructions, that's kind of as far as we get for now. Let's see. So I'm just going to do it line by line. All right, so they're talking about your initial screen, right? And just kind of the different menus. So you'll see on top of here, you have one menu, two menus, three menus, and then this menu. So actually 4 menus. So let's just go over these. On this very top bar, this is called a menu bar, and this is called a title bar. And then this obviously is your application toolbar. When you're in something like in logistics, and you click on one of these, then this bar will actually be dependent on what you click. Okay, so when you're doing one of these cases, you might want to just be aware of what's happening up in these 3 bars here. So the title bar displays the name of the transaction that you're doing. We're not really doing any transactions, so you don't see that. The transaction, I guess, is just picking something. But you'll see what I mean when we actually get into a transaction. And then this application bar, see how mine have words here? Yours might not have words, and I'm going to show you how to change that in a little bit. But the application toolbar contains icons and buttons applicable to the transaction you're currently using. So you'll see that when I start using something or doing one of these options here. But I'm going to use this little arrow or I'm going to click on Session Manager and just make sure it's called Transaction so I can see the transaction that I'm doing. I'll go over this again. I'm just going to go in line with the instructions, but just because I was here, I decided to show you. All right, so here we go. Those are the toolbars, and then you have your easy access menu here. I actually don't think it's that easy. It's kind of cumbersome. But on the navigation instructions, it wants me to click on logistics for the fun of it and show sales and distribution, which is fulfillment, and choose sales. So I'm going to do that. So I click on logistics, I choose sales and distribution, and then it wants me to show sales. And then you don't have to do this exercise, but it's kind of fun. It says, what are the top 3 folders in the sales folder? Inquiry, quotation, and order. So now expand the top 3 folders. What folder is missing from the first folder that the other 2 have? So check this out. If I wanted to do a sales inquiry, I would click there and I could do a create, a change, and display. If I wanted to do a sales quote, I could do those 3. And then if I wanted to do these other functions, here's this stuff. So it just kind of shows you like you have all these crazy little options within an option. All right, so I'm moving down, and here's that status bar thing that shows you the transaction. It should be here, right? So if I were to click on inquiry and I were to click on create, watch this change. See? So, and this is just called a VA11, and I'll show you that. That's called a transaction code. It's just short for the inquiry, right? So I'll show you that in a second, but you can see this will kind of double check and see that you're in the right one, correct? So I'm going to exit out and get back on this tree here. All right, so we did that. They want me to do one more. It's called, they want to do materials management, and they want me to go into inventory management, and they want me to choose environment and check what my stock overview is. So I'm going to go to stock, and I'm going to double click on stock overview, and you'll see MMBE here, which is the transaction code, which I'll get into in a little bit. All right, so that was my first 8 pages. Now they want me to, and you need to do this, you guys. They want us to customize the local layout, and we need to do the same layout as a class. I mean, after we're done with all this, you can do whatever you want, but I grade on the Belize theme, okay? I'm in the Belize theme now, I believe, but we'll check and see. Okay, so here we go. So now I have this more button here. It might be an icon for you, so I need to show you how to change these in a second. But this more button here, and actually could be over here as well. So you just, depending on, you know, if you're a Mac user or a PC user, this could be somewhere different. So on more, I want to use your SAP GUI settings and actions, and I want to go to options. And once I'm in options, I want to choose my Belize theme. And here is, this might not be checked on you guys's, but I want to show toolbar buttons with text. So here's that button to make these actual words instead of icons. So you would click on that and you would choose OK. And then what you would do then, if you don't see them, you can totally get out of the whole SAP system and then re-log in, and then you'll see them there. Okay? All right, so we've already changed that to Belize, and we're showing the toolbars with text, so that works out awesome. All right, transaction codes. This is that one that I was telling you about. So if I were to double click on stock overview, I can see my transaction code as MMBE. So if you're going to check your stock a lot to see if you needed some or see if some came in or whatever. So what we want to do is go ahead and we'll just kind of memorize this now for now, and then you can actually add it as a favorite. So I'm going to get out of this, And instead of, let's get out of this. I know I need to do a stock overview, and I know that it's MMBE. So I can just type in MMBE here as a transaction code and then press enter, and it'll take me to the stock overview. So let me just make sure that is what I need. Yeah. Okay, it's kind of a little bit off script, but I'm going to show you really quick what it does and then how to get this, okay? So I'm going to press enter on my keyboard, and you'll see that I'm going to go to MMBE, which is that stock overview and MMBE. All right, so what you might be asking is, how do I know it's MMBE? I can set these, you see how these are just like little circles? I can actually set these to show your transaction code here. And so that's what I'm going to show you now. So I go to extras here, and I go to settings, and what I want to do is display technical names, and that will display the transaction code for each one of these instead of the little circle, and I'll click on check mark. So now when I go into logistics and I go to materials management, and then I go, I forget where stock is, but let's just say I'll go to purchasing, I don't remember it, but if I click on any of these, then you'll notice that now I have the TC code there. So that's how that works. I wish I could have gone into the other one and showed you, but I couldn't remember where I can never really remember where they are. I just kind of know them by name now. All right, so that's that step. So they want me to just show you again, and they want me to go to logistics. So I'll just go to logistics. So instead of purchasing, they want me to go into sales. So I'm going to go, I have logistics, sales and distribution, under sales, in inquiry. Now you'll see the transaction codes that I have here. So if I wanted to do a create an inquiry for my sales, I could just type in VA11 right here and get to it. Okay, so that is how you do TC codes. You're gonna love them. They're really easy, and it's really kind of nice to know that they're around. Okay, so the next one we do is we're gonna show you how to enter a new page while you're on an existing page. I kind of don't use this very much, but I mean, if you like it, go ahead and use it. Okay, so here you go. It says you can use various control parameters to influence what happens to the session. So the \n exits the current transaction and goes to a new transaction. For example, if you are in VA01, so that would be, I wonder if that's quote, let's see, if you're here and you want to go to stock overview, you can go ahead and use the \n within that little box here. So let's just check it out. So I'm going to double click on VA01. Let's say I'm in it, and I have some things happening here, but I want to check to see my stock. So I can go here and do \, and then I choose new, and then I type in MMBE, because I know that that is my stock overview. And then if I press enter, that'll take me to MMBE. Yay. I don't know if you guys, I don't usually use those things because I'm just kind of, I work a little slower than what it's no big deal for me just to type in MMBE, but that's how you do it. You can open, that's opening a new transaction, but you can open new sessions, like have multiple sessions open by using, instead of /n, you can use /o. So again, those are just some tools to keep things, if you want to go faster on them. Okay, so the next step we need to do is make sure we're on the right date. This can do military date, and I don't want military date on when you guys submit things. So we want to do 2 months, 2 days, and 4 years. And typically this right here is already done for you the way I want that. But let's just make sure. So I'm going to click on exit there. And the code to get into this is SU3. And I want to make sure my date is correct. So I click there. And then I want to go to defaults. And I want to make sure I'm in this date. Okay. So time format is, date format's that. Time format is, I want it as a 12-hour. Let me make sure what that is. Let me really quickly double check that. Yeah, it doesn't say, but I would like a 12-hour format. We'll do with a capital PM. So let's get that all together like that so that we're all on the same page. And then when I'm done, I have the save on my lower right corner here. Maybe Apple has a different way of doing it, but mine says save here. Apple might have save up here. So I'll click save. Okay, so now we're on step 5, which is favorites. And this is a big deal when we do exam 2, and also a big deal when you're doing, when you're trying to find stock overview all the time and you can't remember MMBE. Then we can add favorites so that we can have a list of favorites that we use often. And I think that knowing transaction codes and knowing your favorites is like the top thing you want to learn from this little lecture. Okay, so short description: create your own favorites in SAP GUI, and add objects to them. So I'm going to just show you really quick. I'm going to kind of take that. Doesn't matter. All right, so SAP menu, we have our favorites, right? And what I want to do is go ahead and add a favorite. So I can right click on that and I can add other objects. I can insert a transaction code, insert a folder, or delete all favorites. So I want to add other objects for now. I'm just going through the actual lesson here. And you can add actually URLs like a web address. Let's see what they have. It says add the SAP help portal using the URL helpsap.com. Okay. So I'm going to do web address, double click on it, and I'm going to do the web address here. And I'm going to click on it and I'll just type in SAP help portal. Okay. And then when I'm done with that, I just would press continue. Add the following transaction as favorite. Okay, so I'm done with this. And then now I want to add a TC code, right? A transaction favorite. So the instructions on that are to add the following transaction. Go to logistics, choose sales and distribution, choose sales, and click display. So here, let's see. Go to sales order. Actually, I'm just going to go to one of these. Just examine order display. Okay. So it's funny because I don't see, oh, here it is. Sorry, order display. So here's what they want me to do. So once I find that, what they want me to do is I can go ahead and right click on that and ask it to add to my favorites. So I'm on this order display, sorry you guys, and then I can say add to favorites. And then so in my favorites, I've just added VA 03. So if I'm always doing multiple sales orders and I don't want to have to mess with this menu, I can make it a favorite and go straight to it, right? So, so it's a very handy tool to really populate your favorites if you notice a lot of, repetitive work. And this is also really good for your exam too, if you put like some of the ones that you want to add as a favorite. So when you're doing the exam, you can kind of cross-check these. All right, so that's how you do a save favorite. You just right-click on what you want it, and then you just add a favorite. Super helpful. Okay, so step 6 is help. So get familiar with SAP help functions. I like this too. I use a lot of it, but I actually going to stop now and then create another video on the last 3 steps. So thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.